Good day, class. Welcome to Unit Standard 119462. In this unit standard, we will engage in sustained oral or signed communication and evaluate spoken or signed text. The unit standard is made up of 4 sessions. In the first session, we will look at how to respond critically yet sensitively as a listener. Effective responses for healthy communication are those perceived as being emphatic, caring, warm, and thoughtful. We will briefly look at 8 types of responses. The first response is understanding, because it creates an environment where an honest and frank communication can take place. Understanding is empathy, or accurately tuning into what the other person is feeling at the time, which requires listening beyond the words and reflecting the feelings. The second response is clarification, which shows your effort to understand what is being said to you. Doing this shows the speaker that what they are saying is important, and you are verifying whether your perception is correct. The third response is self-disclosure, and it shows your efforts to give others insight into who you are, or sharing something about yourself that is directly related to the conversation. And this helps you connect with another person who has similar problems or concerns. The fourth response is questioning, which allows the other person to develop a point. Open questions promote communication, and closed questions focus on specific facts and aspects of the other person's situation. The fifth response is information giving, which involves relating facts in an objective manner without judgment or evaluation. This approach allows the person to be free to accept or reject the facts. The sixth response is reassurance. It tends to reduce anxiety, diffuse intense feelings, and express confidence. The response could be rewarded into an understanding, clarifying, or information-giving response and be more effective. Used as an expression of sympathy in conjunction with other responses can be helpful. The seventh response is an analytical response, which is meant to analyze, explain, or interpret the other person's behavior and feelings. Unlike clarification, this response adds something from your own thoughts, feelings, and values. The eighth and last response we will look at is advice giving, which is considered unproductive. It gives an impression that you are in a position to know the cause for the next person's problems and what they should do in order to resolve them. Responding in a healthy manner requires conveying understanding or empathy. Now we will briefly look at how to manage discussions or conflict in a sensitive way that supports group goals and one-on-one interaction. It is the group leader's responsibility to resolve any problems that arise. Conflict in groups can occur due to a number of reasons, such as personality clashes, poor communication, misunderstanding, or anger for no clear reason. Regardless of what the cause may be, it is important to resolve it before it becomes too big of a problem, which may lead to unproductivity in the group. When solving inter-office conflicts, one can resort to 2 methods, which are collaboration or compromise. Collaboration is when the people who are in conflict work together to come up with a solution that benefits both parties. Compromise is when both individuals give a little in order to reach an agreement that are both satisfied with. When resolving group conflicts, you need to approach the individual person in private and state the cause of the problem. By all means, you should try to focus on the matter at hand and be aware of your word choice. You don't want to worsen the situation instead of resolving it by speaking harshly or offending the individual. Now we will look at the characteristics of a speaker's or signer's style, tone, and register that may attract or repel an audience. When conducting an oral presentation, it is crucial to maintain the audience's interest throughout your presentation. In order to be captivating, you should speak clearly at a natural speed, you should pause at key points in order to emphasize them, and you should avoid jokes as they can be disastrous. In order to keep your presentation interesting, it is useful to keep on changing your delivery from time to time in a subtle manner. In closing, we will briefly look at how to identify and challenge the underlying assumptions, points of view, and subtext in spoken or signed text when necessary in order to bring clarity, remove bias, and sustain interaction. When a person listens to text, they have to deal with a number of situations, types of input, and the listening purpose, which helps clarify understanding and removes bias. There are two types of strategies that one can use to contribute to the comprehension and recall of listening input, which are top-down and bottom-up strategies. Top-down strategies are based on the listener. It requires background knowledge of the topic, situation, or context. Background knowledge helps activate a set of expectations that help the listener understand what they hear and anticipate what may follow. Top-down strategies include listening for the main idea, predicting, drawing conclusions, and summarizing. Bottom-up strategies are text-based. The listener relies on language in the message, the combination of sounds, words, and grammar that create meaning. Bottom-up strategies include listening for specific details, recognizing cognates, and recognizing word order patterns. There are 4 steps that one can use to extract meaning from a listening text. The first step is to identify the purpose for listening. This will help activate background knowledge of the topic, which will help you identify appropriate listening strategies. The second step is to attend to the parts of the listening input that are relevant to the identified purpose and ignore the rest. This helps avoid any information overload. The third step is to select top-down and bottom-up strategies that are appropriate to the listening tasks and use them flexibly and interactively. The last step is to check your understanding while listening and when the listening task is over. We have come to the end of our first session. We will continue with the next session after a break.